Islam, salam alaikum. Okay, so what I want to do is also I want to start reading from this book, right? And it's called Alchemy and Mysticism by Alexander Rube for those who have it. And we're just going to read and try and figure out what most of these symbolisms mean, right, as we go. Now, I haven't read it, so pretty much, I'm trying to, well, as you know, most of you, I read symbols, right? Now, in reference to, okay, before I even begin, it says Opus Magnum. In reference to the divine work of creation and the plan of salvation within it, the alchemist process was called the Great Work. In it, a mysterious chaotic source material called materia prima, containing opposites still incompatible and in the most violent conflict, is gradually guided towards a redeemed state of perfect harmony. The healing philosopher's stone, or lapis philosophorum, right? First we bring together, then we putrefy. We break down what has been putrefied. We purify the divided. We unite the purified and harden it. In this way is one made from man and woman. Right? Man, as we know so far, right, can be divided into different understandings based upon light, water, fire, darkness, and all that stuff, right? So when you're looking at man, right, we're going to have two, man and woman, right? Man is born of woman. Right? Man is born of woman. The womb, the word woman, right? The word woman with a silent B, the B is silent, it's actually womb, an. The womb, right? The womb is the creator of life, right, which is mortal or mortality, right? And to be mortal, right, to be mortal is to be encased within the mortal element. Right, which is carbon. Now, as most of you know, carbon, right, is the sixth element on the periodic table, periodic table, with an atomic atom is atum is Adam, right? Atom is atum is Adam. The womb of a woman is a tomb. Right? In tombs you bury the dead, right? Is a tomb for the fallen soul. Now the soul is light, as you all know, and the sun gives light, to which the sun in Latin is soul, right? Soul equals soul. They're one and the same. The only difference is one does not have a U and the other has, right? So the womb of a woman is a tomb for the fallen soul. A tomb, right? Atom, atom, Adam, autumn, right? Autumn. What do you call autumn? Autumn, you call it fall, right? And within the northern hemisphere, what is autumn? Because remember, we are divided into two hemispheres. The northern hemisphere, right? The earth is divided into two hemispheres, northern and southern, right, hemisphere. Hemisphere. Hemis, as in Hermes. Hermes is the sun god. Sphere, right? Influence of the sun. Now, in the northern hemisphere, if they are experiencing summer, we, right, in the southern are experiencing winter, right? It's a duality of opposites. If they are experiencing spring, we are experiencing autumn, right? So it's vice versa, right, as you go from the northern to the southern hemisphere. Now, fall is autumn, right? So if we are dealing with autumn, right, in the northern hemisphere, they are dealing with spring in the southern hemisphere. To which autumn, right, is which month? Autumn begins in Libra, Scorpio, right, then Sagittarius, right? This is autumn, right, which is also termed the fall of Adam, right? The fall of Adam. And why do they term it the fall of Adam? Because if I was to put, right, Capricorn here, right, just before you get to Capricorn, which is the 12th month, December, right, there's November. What is November? November is Sagittarius, right? Then before November is what? October. October is who? Scorpio. Halfway in, halfway out, right? So pretty much you're going backwards. You're going from the 12th, the 11th, the 10th, the 9th, up until you get back to Libra, right? So Libra soon follows after, right? But then for us to get an understanding or a gauging of where we're going with this, we just have to add also to the earth, which is who? Virgo, the Virgin O, right? Virgin O, Virgo, right? And Virgo holds the earth symbol. Now, as you know already, Capricorn holds fire. Saturn was created within Capricorn. So you have fire and you have earth, right? Fire and earth, right? What are the four elements that we always speak of? It is fire, air, water, and earth, right? These are the four elements that govern our reality here on earth. To which, if you want to look at the earth, the sun above the sky is fire, right? The sky itself, right, is air. Then the water, right, sits on top of the earth. So you have fire, air, water, and earth. Same also applies to you as a human being, right? Same also applies to you as a human being. You have within your temple, the temple of your mind, right, where there's two hemispheres, right? Your left hemisphere, right? So you have two hemispheres in your brain. You have the fire of your soul within your pineal, the air, right, of your lungs, within your lungs, the water of your bowels within your stomach, right? Then this is the doorway that brings you into earth, right? So we've already established that earth belongs to Virgo, Virgin O, right? And Capricorn rules Saturn. Now, if you're looking at the story of creation, right? In fact, let me read it out for you. I'm gonna read it out for you because I told you books are being written, and there's many of them that I've written thus far, and they're all supposed to document the truth, right, of who we are. Now, if you look at Genesis, right, the beginning, creation, Genesis, G in Isis, right? Now, in the beginning, God created the heavens, which is Capricorn, right? So Capricorn was created first, right? The 12th hour on a clock, right? The 12th month in the calendar year, right? Beginning of house winter, cold winter waters of heaven, right? And the earth. So God created, right, the heavens, which is the cold, icy waters, and the earth, right? So the waters and the earth, if you're looking at a woman, they are entailing, or they are speaking of the primordial watery abyss, which is her uterus. Her uterus, the waters of her uterus are the ones that hold the egg, right? And after every 28 days of a month from a moon, right? 28-day cycle, right? 28-day cycle, she releases an egg, right, from a uterine wall. Or unfertilized egg is released from the waters of the uterus, right? An unfertilized egg is released from the waters of the uterus. Now, remember, an unfertilized egg is held to the uterus, right, by frozen waters, right? Frozen waters that unthaw every 28-day cycle, right? Which is why red blood flows through, right? And red blood, as you know, is oxygenated blood. And oxygenated blood is blood that has iron in it, right? All women have an iron deficiency, right? Because they lose a lot of iron during each cycle, right? The more that they bleed, they lose iron. Hence the reason why you notice a lot of women eat ice, right? And women naturally have cold bodies. Like if it's winter, I know most of you who are also brewed up, or you have your wives and all that stuff, you understand what I'm saying. When you're sleeping, she puts those cold claws of her feet on you. You jump up because they are cold. They have a cold body, right? And I'm just joking about the cold claws, okay? So they're not claws. Before women get all excited and think I'm just being funny. But you understand what I mean, right? When I say that, they have to put their feet or on you to get warm, because you as the man are the fire to a woman's darkness. Understand that you as a man are the fire, like your sperm is the fire to her waters, right? Your sperm is the light, right? Light is fire, as you know, right, to her dark water, right? So if we're uniting the principles of what we're speaking of, light comes off the sun, dark of the moon, right? Dark water, right? And your sperm is the light to her dark water. And Bupikapia said, actually, Not only ice, we also eat soil. Very odd. You see? Soil. What is soil? Right? What is soul? What is soul? Soul is sun in Latin. Soul is that which is within your body, the light of the sun. And soil, right, is what? That which is beneath your feet. Right? Which is carbon. To which we were discussing that carbon is the 6th element on the periodic table with an atomic number 6. Right? So it actually, the science is applied, right, in the spirit realm as it is applied in the physical realm, right? The science is all applied all the same. Right? Whatever is happening within the spirit is happening within the physical. If your spirit is sick, your physical is sick. So when you're looking at it, right, fire of your soul within the temple, air of your lungs within your lungs, water within your bowels, and the doorway into earth, right? So we were speaking of the 4 elements and how they relate to this, right, which is these houses of the zodiac. We already have fire, we already have earth, right? So this is fire, and this is earth, right? So you have to have air, water, doorway into earth. To which, when you look, right, and this I'll tell you why it's a doorway, because like if you put it on a wheel, it makes it easier for you to understand. It makes it easier for you to see why I say it's a doorway, because the sun will rise in the east and it will set in the west, right? If you do the wheel and put the 12 hours of a clock, the 12 houses of the zodiac, right, at the 3 o'clock mark and the 9 o'clock mark. The 3 o'clock mark is where the sun rises within Aries, right? At the 9 o'clock mark in the west, because like you see how I have the cardinals, north, west, east, and south, right? So the sun rises at the 3 o'clock mark in Aries, and it sets at the 9 o'clock mark, right, in Libra. Libra Aries, libraries. Libraries is where you'll find all the knowledge, and knowledge is the key to great wisdom, right? The wisdom of Solomon, sun and moon, right? So, with that said, right, when you're looking at the story of Genesis, creation, it tells you in the beginning that God created the heavens, Capricorn, the uterine waters, right, the waters of the uterus. Because if you're looking at Capricorn, Capricorn is actually a sea goat, right? Capricorn is like that. Half fish, half goat. And the reason why it's half fish and half goat, fish live in salty water. I mean, you do have freshwater fish, but we're talking about the sea, right? Capricorn is a sea goat. Now, the sea waters are salty waters, right? The amniotic fluid within the uterus of a woman is salty. The goat itself represents the uterus, right? Because the uterus of a woman is shaped as a what? As a goat's head. So you have to understand that this is the uterus from which light was born. Light was cast from the lighter, higher uterus into the lower, heavier uterus, which is the Virgin O, Virgo, right? So now when we're looking at the story of creation, it goes on to say, in the beginning, God created the heavens, right, the waters, and the earth, right, the egg. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep. And the Spirit, this is a spear, right, who holds a bow and arrow. An arrow is a short spear that is fired from a bow, right? It's Sagittarius, right? So as I read, I'm going to go ahead and label this, right? So in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, right? And the earth was formless and empty, and darkness was over the surface of the deep. And the Spirit, as in spear, an arrow is a short form of a spear. Spear it, right? Spirit, as you know, is air, right? In terms of the planets, the god of air, or the god of air, air is sky, right? We've already established over here that the air, fire, air, water, and earth, air is the sky, right? The god of the sky is who? Uranus. Uranus is a sky god, right? And the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. So the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters of Scorpio, right? Water. Who is the god of water? Which planet represents water? Neptune. Neptune. Why does Neptune represent water? Because Neptune, as you remember, is a water god, right? Who also, his name is Poseidon, which is why they use Poseidon's trident as the symbol for Neptune, right? This is water. Right? And remember, this is the doorway in which the sun sets, right? The sun leaves the darkness of the earth. So the sun leaves the darkness. Who rules the darkness? I just told you over here, right? Fire, light, dark, moon. Who rules the darkness? The moon. So the fire moves from the darkness and the earth. The fire leaves the dark of the moon and the earth, right? This is a doorway into earth, which we know as birth. Birth is simply be earth, as in be mortal, becoming mortal man. Immortal heavens, mortal man on earth, or on the virgin earth, right? Then from that doorway you have earth. So you have fire, air, water, doorway into earth, right? The doorway into earth is Libra, where the sun sets. When the sun is setting, it's leaving the earth. Darkness follows with the moon on earth. Sun leaving, darkness of the moon follows on earth, right? You have to know how to read the symbolism. The symbolism is everything. Everything is hidden within symbols. So, with that said, right, now you have fire of your soul, air of your lungs, water of your bowels, and earth beneath your feet, right? Fire of your soul, air of your lungs, water, doorway into earth, right? So now when you're looking at creation, right, it says the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters, and God said, let there be light. That was the creation of Saturn over the air, right? Let there be light. The creation of light was the creation of our Father. Our is in H-O-U-R. Saturn is Chronos, right? Who is also Father Time. Our Father. Most of you think that you're saying O-U-R, Father, who art in heaven. You're actually saying H-O-U-R, Father, who art in heaven. Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Right? Now, when you start looking, Saturn has many names, right? Our is also Horus. You just take H-O, the U, you put it after the R, so it's H-O-R-U-S. Hours, Horus. Horus is a measure of time, right? Horus is the sun, right? Sunlight and sunset, right? The story of sunlight or sunrise, right? Sunrise, which came from Ra, Isis, right? Which is rises, right? And sunset, right? Which is the story of Ra, Isis, and Set, right? The story of Ra, Isis, and Set. Ra is Amen Ra, right? So you're doing a union of the sciences, right, in different understandings. What you have to understand what the white people did. The white people came and learned our sciences, and they divided them into different understandings, right? They divided them into different religions. So by that I mean this, because all the teachings in the world, right, all the spiritual teachings in the world, right, they have different like aspects of them that, you know, we needed to actually unite. But remember, the main premise, right, is divided you fall, united you stand, right? When you're looking at the term universe, universe, right? Universe, uni, uno, right? Uno, one, right? One verse. Verse is word. Word carries sound, to which sound has a frequency, to which the universe vibrates at 432 hertz, to which if you say 4 plus 3 plus 2, it will give you 9. 9 is the spiral of life, right? 9 is the spiral of life. And this is why I say that 9 is a spiral of life. When you're seeing hurricanes that are forming from the top, like if you're flying over a hurricane, if you look at a hurricane at the top, it looks like a spiral of 9, right? When you're looking at a fetus forming within the womb of its mother, it looks like a 9. When you're looking at your ear, it looks like a 9. When you're looking at the spiral of, or the direction of the hair, right, your hair on top of your skull is a spiral that looks like a 9, right? When water is going down a drain, it spirals as a 9, to which this 9 was given a calculation, and that calculation is the Fibonacci, right, sequence, right? Fibonacci sequence has a golden ratio of 1.618, to which if you say 1 plus 6 plus 1 plus 8, it'll give you 16. 1 plus 6 will give you 7. 7 is the numeric measure of light. 7 is a numeric measure of light, to which I can even show you when I'm using numerology. What is numerology? Numerology, right? Root word nu. Nu is the goddess of darkness, right? From Nu came Nu as in neutrons, Nu as in neurons, Nu as in nucleus, Nu as in numbers or numbers, right? All this was derivative or was born of Nu. Nu as in Nubian, right? Nubian, Nubia, us, black people, dark people, right? Now, what is numerology? Numerology is the divine relationship between letters of the alphabet and numbers. This is numerology. To which what you do is you take the alphabet, right? So I'm going to do it on a plain paper so that we can all have a better view of what I'm about to do. So you take the alphabet and split it in half. A, B, C, D, Now, you take the principle of God created the world in 6 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and rested on the seventh, right? Now, remember, when you're looking at a number line, right, it's minus 1, 0, plus 1, right? 0 is the mirror, right? And in this sense, 7 is the mirror. So if from 7 you go back 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, there is balance, right? Now, numerology, the way that you use it is this. For example, if I take Horus, right? Horus is a sun god. H is 6. O is 2. O is 2, sorry. R is 5, right? U is 6. S is 6, right? 6 plus 2 plus 5 plus 6 plus 6, right? 6 plus 6, 12 plus 6, 18, 20, 25. 25. 2 plus 5 equals 7, right? If I take Saturn or Satan, right? S is 6, A is 1, T is 7, A is 1, N is 1. 6 plus 1 plus 7 plus 1 plus 1, right? 7 plus 7, 14, 15, 16, right? 1 plus 6 equals 7, right? So as you keep going, right, it keeps showing you, it keeps revealing, right, the union of all these names. The names will give you the number 7 always, right? And they're all associated with light. He is the morning star, right? Satan is Saturn, who is the morning star, right? Bringer of light, right? Even if you take Adam, A is 1, D is 4, A is 1, M is 1. 1 plus 4 plus 1 plus 1 equals 4, 5, 6, 7. The fall of Adam, 7. Right? It always equals 7. It always equals 7. Now, what I want to do is this, go back to this, right? It always equals 7. 7 is the numeric measure of light, right? Universe is also universum, right? What is universum? Uni as in unite, ver, the sum of it all. Unite the sum of it all. Combine it all. Make it one. Universum and unus versus. Right? These are all universe. Unus versus is the one turned, right? The one turned, as above, so below, right? The one turned. Now, divided you fall, united you stand. Remember, if you're looking at the Tower of Babel, right? Mankind built a tower that was going up into heaven. They were all united. They all spoke one language, right? You okay, buddy? They all spoke one language. right? And this is the Tower of Babel, right? They all spoke one language, and they were building this tower towards the heavens, right? And God came down, and God realized what they were doing. Then God said what? Right? What did God do? What did God say? God broke the tower, right? And split the people into different, like, ethnic groups, right? Those who were actually united are now divided, right? And God said, what did God say? God say, hey buddy, you okay? God said, since you want to know everything that has to do with heaven, I'm going to divide you so that you have no understanding of it, right? That's what they say that God said, but actually man did it within the physical. Man divided you for united you stand. And this goes into what I'm about to say, right? You were given the tree of life. Okay, so if you're looking at Genesis, right? You were given the tree of life, but then you never knew that it was a tree of life within the Kabbalah. What religion does is teaches you the principle that your religion is the only one that is right and everyone else's is wrong. So whoever stands opposed to your religion, you have to be standing opposed to them and not want to learn anything about it, right? That's how they divided the people, right? By making you not want to stand united as one. Now, the tree of life from which Eve took the fruit of forbidden knowledge, right, was the tree of life within the Kabbalah. So they gave us the tree of life, right, but it was within the Kabbalah, right? This is the tree of life. It was within the Kabbalah. Then they gave us the forbidden fruit. Right? The orb is within the lion's den. They gave us the forbidden fruit. But they did not give us one thing, right? So we have the tree of life, we have the fruit, right? Now, in order for a tree to be, it must have root, right? This is the root chakra. Now you're uniting it with the chakras, right? And this is the crown chakra. So now you're uniting with the crown, with the chakras. So now you have the tree of life, the fruit, and the chakras. What's up, buddy? Right? But the one thing that they never really taught you of is the seed. Right? The seed is what you've always been looking for. The seed that gave life to the tree. And the seed is within the fruit. Right? The seed is within the fruit. What is the seed? In order for you to find the seed, you now have to also add the alphabet. A, B, C, D, E. This then becomes the mortal man. Right? The head, the rib cage, C for the bowels. Like these are bowls, right? Bowls you put water. Fire of the soul. Right? Air of the lungs go into your rib cage. Water goes into your bowels. Right? Water goes into your bowels, and these are your legs that touch upon earth, right? Water, earth. So, earth starts with an E too, right? Within these bowels, there is a fire. that must be united with the water. Hence the reason why when you're looking at Opus Magnum, it tells you, first we bring together, then we putrefy, we break down what has been putrefied, we purify the divided, we unite the purified and harden it. The one thing that can harden anything is the waters of the uterus, which hold the egg, right? In this way is one made from man and woman. In this way, one. You see how they say one is made from man and woman? If you look right here, this is the chalice right here. This is in between the chalice. Right? The chalice is the cup from which Jesus drank from, or the wine glass that Jesus drank from during the Last Supper. Right? One. Or I, one. Right? Universum, unite the sum of it all. Universus or unus versus one, turned. One. One turned. Right here is the union of fire and water, which is air. Fire and water is air, which is this right here. This right here, fire and water is air, right? To raise the serpent up the spine, or up the 33 vertebrae of the spine into the temple of your mind. These are your bowels, right? This right here, air. Air is born of what? Right? This is water, this is fire. Fire and water, air. Right? Even here it shows you two as well. Right? The union between male and female will give you air. Right? To which if you unite fire and water in alchemical symbolism, fire and water, right, will give you the Star of David, to which the Star of David is also the macabre, right? The macabre. Now over here you might be confused as to why the sun is here and the moon is here, right? One thing you have to understand is this. One pillar is the sun, so anything on this side is the sun, which is Jupiter. One pillar is the moon, so anything on this side is the moon, right? Mercury and Venus. So don't be confused of the placement of the sun and the moon above the earth. It's still the same thing. It still relates to the same thing. It's still the same chalice. So in there, the fire will meet the water and it will give you the macabre, which is the mercurial cube. Now this mercurial cube, what you do with it is you take it, right? Or the Star of David, you take it and you add it to your wheel. Right? When you add it to your wheel, it marks certain points on the clock. Right? It marks at 12 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Right? Now, fire must fall through water into earth. Right? God's coming to man. Right? Which is Cancer. The man of the Zohar. Right? The Masonic Royal Ark. Right here. Then the only way to the Father is through the Sun. The universe vibrates at 432 hertz. Right? Mars is the son of Jupiter. Right? And this is your heart chakra. So you have to have love within your heart for you to rise. This is the rising point, the doorway. Right? So the only way to the Father is through the Sun. So Saturn is the father of Jupiter. Jupiter is the father of Mars. Right? Father, Son, Father, Son. God coming to man, going to God, right? Using these symbols here, right? And in the middle, in between, is the eye. The eye, the same as the eye within the forbidden fruit, the same as the one, right? It's the same thing. So understanding the science is very important, right? Simply because it will open up your avenues of understanding to many other things. To which, if I go back here, right, to the one that I actually had before, we were speaking of how woman and man are opposites. Now you know that the man is light, fire, and the woman is water. Right? Unite the two. They'll give you the Star of David. Right? Now the womb of woman is a tomb for the soul. Right? Within the womb, the light of your soul will fall through the air, right? As it falls through the air, it will fall through the water. The water is what materializes it into the physical, right? So you're going from your lighter form, from your light and darkness, air, to water and physical earth, right? So you're falling into the 4 densities until you are birthed or be earthed into mortal man. So you're going from immortality to mortality. So the key to immortality is moving from here, the root, into your crown before creation, right? After creation, right? That's why we are subject to the physical. We only concentrate on this instead of concentrating on this. You are given 2 powers to create, one which is the thought within your mind, and the other which is the fire within your bowels, right? That fire within your bowels is the one that has to go beneath the serpent and burn it up, right? That passion has to burn those bowls of water to create air. Air will raise the serpent up your spine into your temple, which is your mind. So if anybody has any questions, I'll take questions. You can actually go ahead and write me and I'll answer them as I go. But other than that, you guys have a wonderful day. It was very eventful and enlightening, or informative rather, right? This has to be one of the most informative videos I've done in a while, right? Simply because I wanted to go back to the rudimentary science, the simple science, before I go back into the difficult science. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful evening.